pay very close attention to the fourth house where we have landed ourselves in, because fourth house stands for your chest, your heart, your lungs, all the critical organs of your body are the fourth house. Yes? Just to recap, before that, what are we trying to do here? The best way to approach this whole series of wellness podcasts is to first check out where the natal chart planets are positioned in your chart. Okay, then start going through the houses and where it is placed and the Vata, Pitta, Kapha effects of those. If it is increased, if it is decreased. Here's another hint. Always go through the Shad Bala or the six-fold strength of the planets. If the strength of the planets is more and it's placed in a very good house also, it will increase those particular effects. Just so you know. We shall see more refinements later on. But just to recap, fourth house is your chest and lungs area. It's your emotions, it's your happiness factor, it's your mind, it's your psychology, it's psychosis of all kinds. It's the rib cage, everything in the rib cage. Lungs and heart, basically feelings, breasts, heart, upper spine, when you take the backside. It's your peace of mind, it's water retention, it's the thymus gland. Associated hormones, medulla oblongata, when you talk of brain parts which are responsible for those, medulla oblongata, the pons, the hypothalamus, the cerebral cortex, the limbic system, the vagus nerve. These days lots of shorts float around about the vagus nerve, isn't it? Very critical. Nucleus of solitary tract and reticular formation. See, all these are parts of the brain which are responsible for those areas of our body. So what happens when Vata increases? First, centrally speaking, Saturn is the pure Vata planet. Especially if it is combined or aspected by Rahu or Ketu, it becomes amplified and conjoined at the same time with Moon or Venus. So Vata is dry, mobile, irregular, subtle and cold energy of the prana. Prana basically splits into three parts, Vata, Pitta and Kapha as per Ayurveda. So we are seeing how it ties into your Jyotish chart. Okay. In fourth house, Vata directly destabilizes emotional security and autonomic nervous regulation. Everything is about nervous regulation. Everything is about brain and spinal column. So the physical expression of that, since fourth house governs chest, lungs, heart, upper spine and vagus nerve, excessive Vata will lead to irregular breathing pattern, shallow breathing, sudden breathlessness without pathology, chest tightness during anxiety, palpitations of all kinds, variable heart rhythm. See how critical these become. Upper spine stiffness, behind the neck and between the shoulder blades, upper spine. Rib cage discomfort, dry cough, insomnia, the classical Vata increase, too much of activity going on. There's no stability. You need to introduce some Kapha there. Loss of physical strength. Water imbalance may occur since it's fourth house of Cancer, may paradoxically show up as dryness rather than retention. Now, this is something that has to be seen basically on a case-to-case basis. The autonomic nervous system, vagus nerve plus medulla oblongata. Hyper-reactive stress response, startled reflexes, sudden adrenaline spikes. As the physical, what about mental and emotional? The limbic system and the hypothalamic axis, so to speak. The fourth house deeply connects to emotional brain centers. When Vata rises, you have racing emotional thoughts. Thoughts will trigger all kinds of emotions. Fear without a clear external cause. Emotional insecurity, restlessness in the mind. Too much Vata in fourth house, any of these planets bunched together, will create that. Difficulty feeling at home internally. Fragmented sleep. Thoughts feel unsettled and unanchored, especially if this is with Rahu or Ketu. Okay, Saturn with Rahu Ketu will give this kind of an approach. What about emotional expression? Anxiety rooted in safety concerns, feeling unsafe, fear of abandonment, mood instability, emotional hypersensitivity and sudden withdrawal. Peace of mind becomes sort of fragile. What about the hormonal and immune expression? Thymus plus hypothalamus. Immune fluctuations, the system of the immune system in the body fluctuates because of this. Too much movement, not enough rest. Stress-driven hormonal irregularity, nervous exhaustion. Overall pattern of Vata in the fourth house is emotional instability, irregular breathing, chest-driven anxiety, inner peace becomes unstable, and autonomic rhythm becomes erratic. What about Pitta planets when placed in the fourth house? And as a general rule, always remember that Pitta planets, if they're placed in fire signs, if fourth house is a fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, it will become more. If it's in water sign, kind of less, obviously, right? It is debilitated. So, let's get back to fourth house when Pitta increases. Now you are increasing the catabolic activity, so to speak. Yes? The catalyst, the one which converts everything to fire, usable calorific energy in the body. So Pitta is hot, sharp, penetrating and intense. In the fourth house, Pitta increases the emotional processing and cardiac respiratory metabolism. Fourth house aspects. Physical aspects, since fourth house rules chest, lungs and heart, burning sensation in the chest, acid reflux affecting the chest, inflammatory lung irritation, redness of the face during emotional episodes, excessive sweating, increased heart rate, hypertension tendencies, thirst, which is classically Pitta because it increases the heat in the body, reduced sleep, upper spine tension as a result of anger or stress. Okay, what about the mental and emotional, the cortical and the limbic system? Because we spoke of cortex and limbics as rulers of the fourth house. So it becomes intense emotional reactions, strong opinions, and sharp psychological perception. Analytical but emotionally heated. When excessive, it may become irritability, a lot of anger issues stored in the chest, sort of frustration, intolerance, harsh inner self-talk. Mind becomes sharp but inflamed, too much Pitta energy, too much heat. Emotionally, they may have anger issues at family, competitive emotional dynamics, control-oriented behavior, pride linked to emotional security. Fourth house is sense of security. The peace of mind is replaced by internal heat. It's a crucial way to look at it. Lastly, the hormonal immune expression, inflammatory tendencies. Again, Pitta is always inflammation, internal inflammation, stress hormone dominance, heat-related immune reactions. The overall Pitta in the fourth house, strong emotional intensity, cardiac heat, reactive psychology. The inner foundation becomes fiery rather than calm. Fourth house is supposed to be calm, not having too much of restlessness. And it keeps on reducing that as a result of too much of heat there. Again, like I said, more so if there are fire signs involved there. It becomes amplified. Aries more, Leo little less, Sagittarius a little more less, but Aries in fourth house will become very, very high in this. So be careful how you evaluate that. Also take the strength of the planets, the Shadbala, into consideration when you evaluate these kinds of things. And of course, the Mahadasha Antardasha is what kicks it in, always. Let's see the Kapha effects now of the fourth house. Coming now to the Kapha effects of the fourth house. When Jupiter, Moon, Venus, dominantly Jupiter, falls in the fourth house, it increases the Kapha factor, especially if it's conjoined with Moon of Venus or aspected by Rahu or conjunct Rahu also. Rahu amplifies. So excessive Kapha. Kapha is basically fatty tissue. Kapha is basically the mucus aspect in the body. Kapha, you can also say, is the interstitial tissue in the body. In the fourth house, when it increases fluid accumulation and emotional attachment, especially if Jupiter with Moon, for example. Physical expression, fourth house governs chest, lungs, water retention. Therefore, it will lead to chest congestion, excessive mucus, productive cough, water retention in the chest area, in the lungs area, swelling, slow breathing, dull chest heaviness, excessive sleep. The classical kapha increases too much sleeping. Sleep is never enough. Cold sensitivity. Kapha is cold in nature. Heavy, moist, cold, and stable. See, the nature of this prana shakti you should take into consideration. The thymus and the lymphatic congestions may appear. Okay, that's the first. What about mental, emotional? Emotional memory centers. Deep emotional attachments could occur. Strong nostalgia, slow emotional processing, calm and patient temperament. When excessive, it could lead to emotional stagnation, always stuck in a particular emotion. Difficulty of letting go, very huge, isn't it, psychologically? Depression like heaviness, again, it depends. If again Ketu is aspecting any one of this, it can create more of depressive like heaviness. Withdrawal into comfort, always seeking comfort, fourth house Jupiter. Emotional expression, over attachment to home or mother. I have literally seen this. Possessiveness, comfort seeking, avoidance of emotional risk. Peace of mind becomes passive inertia. What about hormone and immune expression? Sluggish immune response, metabolic slowdown, fluid accumulation. Vata, Pitta. Okay, we are talking about kapha. So kapha is more mucus oriented, more fluid, more liquid, more calming, more anabolic reactors, not catabolic like pitta. You might say pitta and kapha are opposing forces. Overall pattern of kapha in the fourth house is emotional heaviness, congestion, excessive comfort orientation. Inner life becomes stable but stagnant. What's the point of that? Breathing becomes slow and heavy. So, comparative view. There's the dosha increase. Vata leads to irregular breathing, palpitations, restlessness, anxious and unstable sort of an energy in the body, in the fourth house. Pitta will create more hypertension, more heat in the chest, more blood pressure issues, irritable, overstimulated. Everything is excessive. We are talking about excessive. All three are needed, but we are talking about excessiveness. Kapha is congestion, too much heaviness, slow to mind. Emotion is a lot of attachment issues. So Vata disturbs emotional safety. Pitta inflames emotional responses and Kapha stagnates emotional flow. That's basically the fourth house. You have to take very critical care of the fourth house. Okay, since the functions associated are with the critical organs and the brain centers as well, isn't it? Everything to do with chest, heart, home, lungs, and so on. Shall see you in the next in the fifth house. Take care, be safe.